I finally saw the LG G5 83 inches in person at the store. And I recorded my first impressions in real time. But unfortunately, LG decided to use some copyright protected content, so I was not able to make that video public. So it's members only, so it doesn't affect the channel. But I'm gonna give you my first impressions. I'm gonna tell you what I saw, what I remember from my impressions. And before we go there, I checked this report from our teams about the G5. We know the G5 had a lot of issues with HDR10 looking all messed up, near black. And also the input lag at 165 Hz was worse than 60, which makes no sense, and it defeats the purpose of a higher refresh rate. But it seems like now, if you don't use game optimizer mode, and then you turn on ALLM, you can get good input lag, expected input lag for the refresh rate, about 4 milliseconds, and you don't have that issue on HDR10. They still need to fix it on game optimizer mode, because you shouldn't have to know this and then do all these tricks. And some people might not know that, and they might be suffering the issues. But I hope LG eventually make it almost perfect, because if they were able to fix it in other modes, I don't see why they are not able to fix it on game optimizer mode. So that should be resolved at some point. But still, there is a problem that PC gamers are complaining about with the LG G5 that sounds pretty bad, and that is this issue that our team is highlighting here. And they said PC gamers are complaining about this. It's like a weird diagonal dithering. Now, some people with G4s, they reported that they have the same issue. So the thing is, if LG has not been able to fix that on the G4 after a year, why would they be able to fix it on the G5? So this might be a problem that might never be resolved. And I think this is one of those things that after you see it, you cannot unsee it, and it's a deal breaker. I mean, this looks pretty bad. I mean, if I see this problem, I mean, it looks like the TV is broken. That looks scary bad. So maybe it's not a big deal. I mean, it's hard to know unless I see it in front of me how big of a deal that is. But the reason why PC gamers are more sensitive to any defects is because real-time graphics look perfectly clean, and they are used to that. So that's why they can see any imperfections. So people just watching movies and other content that is full of noise, compression, garbage post-processing from the movie industry, you're not gonna see that small imperfection. That's why PC gamers might be complaining about it and not other people. So hopefully that is not a total deal breaker. So make sure, I would say, if you're gonna get the G5, make sure you can return it, just in case that is a deal breaker to you. If you cannot return it in your country or wherever you are, then don't get it, because that might be a big problem. And I don't know how big of a deal it is. But let's imagine that will be fixed, or it is not a big problem, and now we can live with having to use a different mode other than game optimizer and turning on ALLM and all of that. And now it actually works. let's get the issues out of the way. What was my take after seeing the G5 in person at the store? Well, I was not impressed at all, but the reason is LG and most of these companies, I mean all of them, they are using demo material that does not make the TV justice. They are using the same demo material for all their TVs, and that is just not optimal. And there's no way you can really see the full potential of the TV at the store. They're using garbage content with garbage settings on the display. I don't know why. It makes no sense. I mean, if you're trying to sell a TV, you should be displaying content that looks absolutely incredible. I mean, that is obvious. And you should be using settings that look great and not vivid mode settings that look disgustingly bad. So I cannot give you a final, oh, G5 is awesome or it is trash. But I was not impressed, okay? It was bright. As soon as I entered the store, I look at because I've been going to the store to see finally if they have the G5. And immediately I looked from far away and I'm like, yeah, that's a very bright TV. That's probably the G5. And it was. So it's a very bright TV. But the thing that was the biggest disappointment for me was the colors, okay? Look, the colors are good enough. And I'm sure 99% of people are gonna be blown away with the colors. But it's not QD OLED. So the feeling that I got was like using frame generation or like using Samsung's Game Motion Plus. You get 60 FPS and then it looks like 120. So motion clarity looks better than what it feels. That was the impression I got from the G5. It was brighter. The whites, the color white was brighter, but the colors, they were not at the same level. So it was like brightness interpolation to boost the brightness. So there was a brightness boost, but it was not feeling like the real deal. It was not feeling like QD OLED. And the reason why I say that is because they were playing some cartoons and I saw some full screen red colors, which was very insightful, and it was just not impressive, man. It was not bright. It was bright, but it was not wow. Not even close to QD OLED, man. The TV that impressed me, that I was completely blown away, was the S95F. After they gave me the remote and I maxed out the brightness. So to be fair, I was not able to do that with the G5, and maybe the settings were not maxed out. So that's why I cannot tell you 100%, if the G5 is the real deal. But I was able to see that the whites looked a lot brighter than the colors. And it did not give me the QD OLED colorfulness, power. It is not a QD OLED, man. The S95F is the best TV. I don't think there can be any discussion about that. Anyone who says otherwise is wrong, okay? Why? Because the S95F is a QD OLED and it is the brightest QD OLED. QD OLED, unless the calibration is completely messed up, and it's like there's something terribly wrong with the calibration of the TV, QD OLED gets better and better the brighter. It's that simple. You have a brighter QD OLED here, and you have a less bright QD OLED here. That's the best. The brighter the better. It is very, very simple. And QD OLED is the best technology we have. Self-emissive, RGB, perfect blacks, perfect contrast. It's that simple, man. So for me, it's just a no-brainer. Unless you want 83 inches, which is what the G5 offers over the competition. Unless you want 83, if you are looking at 77, 65, or 55 inches, S95F is the best, and nothing comes even close. I don't care about any post-processing, the Bravia 8 Mark II Mate half, the processing or whatever, that's irrelevant. For PC gaming, you're just gonna turn that off anyway. I don't care about low quality content. Okay, I have no interest in low quality, low resolution content, SDR content. That's completely irrelevant. I just don't watch that content. Okay, I do gaming. Gaming is the highest quality content, especially PC gaming. So I'm gonna turn that off anyway. S95F is the brightest, and when I saw it in person, I was like, yeah, I need that TV. It just absolutely blew me away. The G5 didn't do that. Okay. Again, if I get the remote, I change the settings, and I do some PC gaming, if that dithering is not a problem, I might be very impressed. But I don't believe the colors will be at the level of what I see with the S95F. Not even close, man. It's just not close. Okay, we're talking about double the color brightness. It just in another level. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I hope I can get the S95F as a review sample from Samsung. I got the contact. They said, yeah, we'll put you on a list and let you know. They haven't said anything. Maybe I have to follow up. I hope I can get the S95F as a review sample from Samsung, because if they send me that, then I might get the G5 to have them both side by side. And you know what I want to do with the S95F? I want to remove the matte coating. We open a crowdfunding for the S95F, but I cannot do that with a review sample. So what I'm planning is, if I get the S95F as a review sample, then of course I'm not gonna remove the matte finish. I will compare that with the G5, and ultimately I have to return the S95F, and I will exchange the G5 for an S95F. That will be the best case scenario for me. So thank you very much for your support. Right now we are at 7% though. we need a lot more support to get the S95F. So let's see if we can get it done this year. But it's gonna happen. If it's not this year in Black Friday, I will get the S95F, because it is just, I was just absolutely blown away with it. Okay, but the matte finish is really a deal breaker. So what I would say is, I don't recommend. Look, even when I haven't seen the G5 at its best, I cannot recommend anything that is not QD OLED, man. It's that simple. QD OLED is the superior technology, and it's just not close, man. It is not close. If you are not willing to remove the matte finish because of the warranty, or you just don't want to risk it, get S90F or S95D. S95D is even better. Well, S95D is also a matte finish. So yeah, get an S90F. So that's what I would. Right now, this is where I am. You either get the S95F, remove the matte finish, or maybe just suffer the matte finish and just keep it, or get the S90F. That's it. Because the Bravia 8 Mark II, the price makes no sense. It is just 120 hertz. So yeah, that's just not. That's not a TV that I would consider at all. So that's where I am. But let me know your thoughts and opinions. If you have the G5 look, of course you like it, man. The G5 is very bright, and I especially like the coating. The black coating looks amazing. It's just the best. I mean, the black coating of the G5 is the best. That's just the best looking TV on a bright room by far. Nothing comes even close. So if you like it, especially for that, I mean, there's no better TV. And if you want to have the biggest TV, yeah, there's no better TV. 83-inch G5, that's where it's at. But, so what I'm saying is, if you have the G5 and you like it, man, don't take my, lack of excitement or me not being impressed with it or whatever. Don't take that like, oh, the G5 sucks. The G5 is amazing. Would I change my S90D for the G5? Maybe I would. I would like to see them side by side. The G5 is gonna be a lot brighter. Probably, if I open a color clipping test pattern on the G5 versus S90D QD OLED, probably the G5 is gonna be brighter, but maybe they are very close. If they are the same, I keep the S90D. Now, if the S90D is brighter, it's a no-brainer. I mean, S90D is far superior, but I don't think so. I don't think so because of the ABL on the S90D is very aggressive. So the way I would decide which TV is the best is very simple. It is very, very simple. I just open a color clipping test pattern. That's it. That's the only test I need to see. The brighter TV, that's the best. Very simple. Of course, I'm taking mini LED out of the equation because mini LED doesn't have perfect contrast. It doesn't have per pixel. It's not self-emissive. It has perfect blacks, but it doesn't have perfect contrast. So we have LCD's trash, bro. That's another thing. LCD just, the only thing that saves LCDs, in my opinion, is that they are very bright. You can get them in a huge screen size, over 100 inches, and they can potentially be amazing when it comes to motion clarity. So they are very good at flickering technologies, but unfortunately some of these companies don't even care too much about it, so they don't have a good implementation, or they don't have any implementation at all. And reviewers don't ever test the flickering technology of the mini LED TVs at all. And in my opinion, that is the only interesting thing about mini LED TVs. That's it. I am not interested about mini LED TVs at all, unless they have amazing flickering technology to improve the motion. And then reviewers don't even talk about that. That's such a big miss. Hopefully we can grow one day so I can get all those TVs. I mean, I could buy them and return them, but you can do that just so many times before you cannot do it anymore, and I don't like it. I don't like to have to do that. But hopefully we can somehow one day test all those TVs that I am interested in, to check out all the features and all that. But yeah, mini LED is completely out of the equation. Again, even RGB mini LED from Sony and Hisense don't really care. I mean, that for gaming, that's not gonna be better than QD OLED. It will not. So hopefully QD OLED doesn't die. I mean, LCD, again and again, LCD keeps, you know, prevailing over every single technology. Why? Because they are cheap crap that makes a lot of money. That's it. They kill plasmas, they kill CRTs, and they will kill QD OLED, and they'll kill everything else that's better because they make more money. It's very simple. But LCD is just not. It's natively trash. So they keep trying to make it okay, but it's just never at the same level. But yeah, man, that's where I am right now. G5, yes, it was bright. I was not impressed with the colors, and I don't know how big of a problem this is. So for me, the safe bet, especially for gaming, is the S95F, which is not a perfect TV. It has that one connect box that absolutely sucks, and it can only give you problems. So it also has the matte finish, which absolutely sucks, and unless you're going to remove it, it would be a deal breaker for me. And I'm not sure I have the G5 at that point. Even when the S95F is better, even with the matte finish, it's a better TV. I just hate the matte finish. And well, it's a Samsung TV. So you have all those disadvantages. But it is what it is. It's the best TV. If you want to have the best, S95F is where it's at. And I don't think there could be any discussion about that, honestly. So yeah, let's leave it there. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, and if you have any questions.